In last July, the trade war was launched between China and the U.S. The economic conflict between two largest economies also hurt the global economy. The ABC News mentioned trade war already affects South Korea, Germany, British in different ways. This video will discuss what the trade war means to us.
After I saw this the news about the Chinese government stop cooperation program with Australian university, so I feel a little worried about my future and my studies. So I'm just worried about if I can find a suitable work when I graduate and when I'm back to China. So maybe some Chinese companies, they don't admit I just study in Australia and they don't agree with my certificate.
But the history of China-Australia trade is longer than China-America trade if we're talking about the People's Republic, because Australia was trading with Mao's China in the 1950s and 1960s. And so I don't think many people know that. And after after the reform period, China and Australia's trade relationship began to develop, and then particularly in the 2000s it developed very quickly. So in terms of raw materials, in terms of the export of things like iron ore and other minerals, China is like a very important customer of Australia.
I think if there is an economic trade war between the US and China, that there will be implications in Australia. I think this because Australia is an economic partner with both China and the US, and we have a lot of military ties with the US, so I think there'll be some form of implications there.
Could affect our lives. There's a possibility it could, because if the prices of everything go up, then it could affect the price of everything over here. So therefore it can go up, like everything will fluctuate. Yeah?
Yes, somehow, of course, because if the products are made in China, it's more cheaper, and it would be imported in Australia. The people will be more interested to buy the products.
I think it can't have like no effect at all, but it's difficult to say what the effect will be. Hopefully, from an Australian point of view, it will be beneficial to Australia because it will allow more trade opportunities between Australia and China. On the other hand, Australia is in a difficult position because it wants the support of both the US and China. So nobody wants to get in Australia wants to get America angry or wants to get China angry. So balancing those two things is a little bit difficult for Australia. If Australia has to think, are we going to take the US's side or are we going to take China's side? That's actually quite difficult because Australia is like historically, politically, culturally probably closer to the US. But economically speaking, its dependence on China is really quite strong. So that would be a hard decision for Australia. Hopefully there won't be too many strong effects and it will just kind of get the benefits of any kind of restrictions in trade between the US and China.